Hi everybody, this is Scott Cranmore from 67 Music, and we are sitting here in Portland, Oregon tonight at the house of Abby Wesson-Bloom after a fantastic performance from the Celtic duo Men of Worth. We are sitting here with the two gentlemen, James Keigher and Donnie Macdonald. They have agreed to sit with us and talk a little bit about the music they make and the tours that they are on. I wanted to say thanks for a fantastic show. It was a really good time.
You're welcome.
We are very glad to have you back here in Portland after the Portland Highland Games. How do you feel it went tonight?
It was great. It was lovely venue, and we like the intimacy, you know, with smaller venues, and this is a beautiful little house concert. And, really enjoyed it. It's nice to be back. Nice to be back in Portland.
We played in tune. Instruments were in tune tonight.
Which is always important, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think it was in a past conversations that I had with you that you mentioned the music that you make. You much prefer these more quaint performances as opposed to pubs. I think the music lends well to a more intimate atmosphere like this.
Yeah, we played in pubs for years and years, and they're great. They're great places to go and enjoy, but not really if you really want to try and you know, hold an audience and communicate with an audience. It's not always the best place, and over the years, over 25 years, 26 years, we phased away from that and got into performing arts and venues like this where you can actually have a nice intimate setting as well. Pubs are grand, but you can't really get across that type of show.
Well, I think with the stories that you told tonight as well as the music, I think that everybody was here. I think it was an experience that they, like you said, probably wouldn't have gotten in a pub atmosphere. I think it was a great time.
If we were in a pub, we'd buy them a drink.
Yeah, and have one ourselves.
Yeah, right. That's what pubs are for.
That's right. That's right. So you mentioned tonight where the name Men of Worth came from. Yeah. For everybody that's watching this video right now, where did the name come from?
Comes from a song written by Scottish singer-songwriter Archie Fisher, a great singer and songwriter. And he wrote that song, I don't know when, but it's quite some time ago, and we came across it on an album.
Probably in the 1970s when the oil and gas kind of hit Scotland and the North Sea, and it was a whole new area for people to go and work. Some of them leaving traditional jobs, and that's what he was kind of watching. He said, you know, watch who's going to look after your boat while you check out the North Sea.
And we had Archie in common when we started out all those years ago, and I actually was first introduced to Archie, not personally, but he was actually playing with Scylla, and they were backing Tommy Makem and Liam Clancy in those days, and it was in Dublin at the Gaiety Theatre, and Archie came out and opened the second half. It was just amazing to hear this man play and sing, and of course he did that song, and then in later years I heard Mary Black's recording of it. So we were familiar with the song, not so much with Archie personally, but he's a tremendous asset in the folk world in Scotland and worldwide. He's just a great musician, you know. Good song.
So I was talking with an Irish musician a little while back, and he mentioned the difference between European audiences and American audiences. Do you see a difference between the two? I mean, is one more receptive than the other, or is it all just about the same? Well,
concert-wise, to me it's about the same, but you mentioned pubs, and I've played in pubs here in America and in Ireland, and for many years played in pubs in Ireland, and I know that an American audience in a pub has far more manners than an Irish audience in a pub.
Really?
Well, they can be receptive or not receptive depending on if they're there in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay. And the main difference between like a hall here, especially if it's like the Highland Games or you're doing a Keigher, where it's not that, you know, strictly seated. So like we start at 9 o'clock and it goes on till late. You know, this late thing. That works at home, but there's nobody in at 9 o'clock. They might wander in about 10:15. And then they're there till the death and they can't get rid of them. However, here, everybody will be in at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So you have a start to the evening, but then you don't have a finish to it because they're, got to get on the road. You know, they've got to get up in the morning, so they've got more commute-minded. Whereas people at home only have to stagger down the road.
I see. So we stick to more of a schedule then here.
Well, yeah, you're there at the beginning, you know. So, right.
I just think that I can only speak for Ireland and Scotland, maybe to a lesser extent. In Ireland and Scotland, people go out and they're out late. Whether it's, you know, usually whatever night they go out, it doesn't really have to be a weekend. Whereas here in America, I think people are more used to going to bed early here in the States. I don't know why that is. I just think that's the case. People head off to bed at 9:30. My mother-in-law goes to bed at 9:30. What are you going to bed for? You know, there's soccer on in a minute, but you know, people go to bed early. So
if you play in a hall, say that's got say 300 or 400 people, you can tell if it's a city or if it's a rural community, you know, a local place. Because before the concert starts, if it's in the city, they're sitting like a movie audience, quiet. Whereas if you hear a ruction going on, they know each other. So they're already becoming an audience because they know each other. You know, they're not just, you know, wandering like a movie audience. Sitting quiet, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So, how many albums have Men of Worth put out at this point?
In the region of 10.
11? 10 or 11?
10 or 11.
Yeah.
10 or 11. Is it still just as fun today as it was in the beginning?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, oh yeah.
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 Is there anything nowadays that I wouldn't say surprises you, but hasn't been done before or haven't seen that before? Or at this point, with all of the tours and all of the albums, it's becoming...
Well, from a live performance point of view, we'll try something and put something out without, you know, necessarily going over every aspect of it in a rehearsal. Because there's just the two of us. If one, you know, slips up on something, the other compensates, or, you know, so we know what's going on. If there's 3 people if we had a third person, that changes things. So it's no longer the one straight line of telepathy. Or if you get up in the morning and you look in the mirror, you know, you look. Have you ever seen these mirrors when you've got like in a side where?
Yeah, the 3 panel
right,
mirrors.
and especially if you're in a.
Why are you encouraging him?
Oh, sorry.
Especially if you're in a bed and breakfast place, where eventually the first thing you have to do when you go into a bed and breakfast place is the first couple of hours are spent removing cushions from the bed, you know, cushions and pillows from the bed, and then
it's time to get up.
And then there's the bed there. It was there all the time. So then you look in the mirror in the little, you know, sideboardy thing, and then you've got this, you know, hinged bits. Well, that's what it would be like if you had a band, more than 2 people. You've got all the angles and things. Oh, so you've lost that line.
I see. Well, that was an answer I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, I'll bet. That took up the whole 8 minutes. It's true though. It's true. Yeah, and we've been in some B&Bs where they put us in the B&Bs where you have a million pillows and things. But it's true. We can navigate the waters on stage like that as a duo, which is great, and that keeps it fresh for us. If we show up with new material, and it keeps it fresh for us even with stuff that we know, because who knows what's going to happen if the confidence is there or not.
And a lot of the energy is going to come from the audience anyway.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's out there because we haven't been there yet.
Right.
You know, so we're going to change because it's going to be fresh for us. You know, it always is.
So you don't go into each gig or each performance with preconceptions.
We have certain things we can put on the floor, but we not necessarily going by them.
No. Not really.
Something will happen, or somebody will have an idea, and then you know, if we're telling, supposing we're sitting here telling jokes, and I tell you a joke, and then that reminds you of one that you hadn't thought of, but what I said reminded you of it. So you know, there's an ongoing activity in the room, and we relate to that. And my father-in-law used to kill me because he used to come up and say, "Hey, tell the joke about," and I would tell it, and I got halfway through it and I said, "Damn you, what bringing that up?" Because it doesn't relate to anything that's going on. So if humour doesn't, you know, you can't just put it out. Have you heard about the one about such a, yeah, never mind.
I didn't read this yet because you reminded me this evening, so I will do that maybe when I get to the hotel tonight, get out the iPhone. But you did a review.
Yeah. The live album.
Yeah, thank you.
Encinitas.
So there's an example. The live album. Now, we did know we were recording that night.
You did. I didn't.
You didn't know.
You didn't know you were recording?
No.
Oh.
And but we also had a set list, but we also didn't stick with the set list, and we also had 2 or 3 pieces on there that I don't think we played before. So, but the whole thing is, it is what it is, and we are what we are, and that's how we approach it. And that and that album, I know that I'm very happy with it. It came out quite well for a live album, but it's totally off the cuff in what you're hearing. You know, when you say, do you go in with a preconceived idea of what's going on or whatever? No, not really.
It's funny because, you know, you're recording a concert, but if you're in the audience, you're seeing the concert. Whereas if you're only hearing it then on a CD later. If I had known we were recording and Dick J was the MC, I would have asked him to put his shirt back on because he's frightening the children, you know, something like that. Which
So if this goes on your website, I'm going to call Dick and ask, check out 67 Music.
Should we send him a link to the...
Oh yeah, you should anyway, because apart from what he's saying, he's a really good guy, and he runs along with the colleagues the San Diego Folk Heritage Center down there. So you should anyway. But
okay,
maybe he'll have his shirt on if you talk to him.
Well, we definitely appreciate you sitting and talking with us. I know you've got a couple more shows coming up here in the Northwest. This interview will actually be posted the day after. Will be posted the day after the show.
What a great idea! I mean, but that's how warped he is. I mean, you know, seriously, how could you just sit there and think, boy, you know, I'm gonna say, you know. But anyway, never mind. There you go.
So the show's coming up tomorrow night and the next night, I believe?
Yeah, we're in Sisters tomorrow night. Katie Kavanagh runs a harmony house concert. It's a converted barn. And she got in touch and so yeah, we're delighted we're heading up there. And then we're going to return to the Auburn Arts Centre on Sunday afternoon for a matinee. We've also got an Irish dancer coming in. It's specifically Winter's Carol matinee, so we'll be doing more material from the album and focusing. That's there. Now there you have an example of, yeah, we're going to focus on this tomorrow.
And so for those that aren't in the area or couldn't make the shows, where can we go to find out more about Men of Worth and to maybe purchase CDs?
menofworth.com.
Okay.
The website will have everything on there,
okay,
and all of that good stuff.
All the links where we can get the albums and
yeah,
upcoming shows and such.
Everything, Facebook, Twitter.
Information on the tours we do in Ireland and Scotland as well.
That's totally right.
We either go to one or the other. We don't do like both countries on the one tour, you know, just one or the other. So.
Yeah, we're going to do, we're heading for Leitrim and Donegal in April of next year, and well, both tours are sold out next year, this trip to Scotland as well. All of it's on menofworth.com. The 2013 tours are up.
Okay.
And also the calendar for our concert touring in America will be it's being updated actually as we're going along. This is the time of year, as you probably know, when we've been at a couple of music conferences. We're going to go to Montana in January for the Performing Arts Consortium there. So there'll be a bunch of other things being added over the next few weeks.
Going to be very busy.
Well, it's certainly encouraging next year what's going on, and we are heading for. I'm trying to remember. We are heading for various places in America next year with tours. And
will we come across any snow on the way to Sisters?
It's possible. I know it's supposed to be down in the 20s tonight, so it's very possible. I know you're heading to Salem tonight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going up to Sisters, it's a possibility.
Just I think chains, cables, you know.
It'll be okay tomorrow.
Yeah.
I was looking at the forecast.
Okay.
I think it's going to be all right. There's freezing.
I looked too. I didn't see any.
There's the Yeti. There's lots of Yetis on the road.
Oh, it's.
Yeah, watch for those more than the snow.
Well, Bigfoot is of course an issue, but he's only got the one foot.
Big
so
feet, no.
we can run from him, no problem.
Nobody knows that the other foot is actually tiny.
Really?
Well, let me just say that it was a pleasure.
Now I'm thinking about my chihuahua.
You're not seriously going to put this on your...
Well, of course we are. This is probably one of the best interviews we've done.
My chihuahua's got a fifth leg. We call it Florida.
Oh, well.
And then on that note,
There you go.
it was a pleasure meeting the both of you. It was a fantastic show tonight.
Thank
The
you.
songs and the stories were incredible. Like we said, they're going to be in Salem tonight or tomorrow night. If you're watching this video today, it will be tonight. And then on Sunday they are going to be at the Arts Festival on Sisters.
Sisters tomorrow night, and then the
Sisters tomorrow night.
Yeah, and then Auburn Arts Centre, which is in the Seattle area. Auburn Arts Centre in the Seattle area.
There you go.
Yeah, matinee on Sunday. So.
Yep. So menofworth.com. Thank you very much, James,
You're welcome.
and very much, Donnie. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
We'll see you next time.
Yes, thank you to
All
you
right.
and Steve.